Hello everybody, welcome into PGR, the Thursday Night Heat Series, here live from Talladega Superspeedway on Ghost Racing Network. Joining me in the booth again tonight, as always, our double duty man, Matthew Baker for race control and broadcasting. Baker, we're getting ready for the LCQ. How you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good. 27 cars here in the LCQ, a lot more than last time. Hopefully we can keep it as clean as we did for that last LCQ, and just an overall clean event from this last time. Really hoping for a good show here. We got a good amount of trucks out here, a lot of big names that are coming out to play. Garrett Maines is back from his week off, and hopefully see him up front.
I certainly am, as well as I know all the fans watching out here tonight are. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's start with your race info here for these two races. The LCQ going to be the first race that we contend with right here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Going to be 15 laps, 60% fuel. Everybody should be good to go all the way without making a pit stop. Unlimited tires, one fast repair, fixed setups, 3 green light checkers, but the cautions are relaxed. So these guys do need to be careful, and hopefully they don't wreck each other because there's a chance they may not catch a caution. Track temp going to be starting out at 112, winds at 2 miles an hour. Weather outside looking like it is in the 68. Can't tell if I'm reading it right. 68 degrees. No, maybe hotter than that. Either way, 55% humidity and cloudy skies. Jump right into your starting grid here tonight. The man that's on the pole for the LCQ. How about John Darnell rocking the Ghost Racing Network and PGR paint scheme? Dylan Jones going to play his luck here by being in the LCQ. He starts in second. Mark Vondell, Ryan Bass making up row 2. Going to be J.R. Miller fifth with Hunter Parsons to his outside in 6th. Christian Sanford starts in 7th. Richard Elliott 8th. Sierra Clampert going to try to advance tonight. She starts from the 9th position with William Fox rounding out your top 10.
Joshua Penland on the outside looking in 11th. Derek Rowley in 12th. Jeremy Osborne 13th. Danny Barnes in 14th. Zach Range in 15th. Wendell Clark in 16th. Ace Wells in 17th. Elijah Hoagie in 18th. Cole Fitzpatrick in 19th. And Taylor Peacock in 20th.
Good to see Taylor in here. Quick note on that. But Landon Benson going to start in 21st position. Cole Larson, good to see him back. Going to start 22nd. Tucker McClendon, saw him watching just last week. He's in here tonight. Going to be starting from the 23rd position. Ken McCall Jr. going to play his hand in this tonight. He'll start 24th. Shane Hosteller, we'll have to focus on that name a little bit throughout the LCQ to get some practice for the main one. And Ambrose Kniebel for Blind Squirrel Racing, rounding out our 26, we have 27. Nope, 26 it is. Truck field here tonight for the LCQ. And Baker, I'm telling you, each week we are seeing the qualifying times get closer and closer together. You know these guys have been practicing, but it still seems like the best of the best continue to find themselves at the top of qualifying each and every week, not have to worry about the LCQ.
Yeah, but the gap is just shrinking. It's pretty impressive that, the top, what, 6 are separated only by 2 100ths, and the top 5 are separated by 1,000th, really. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
It certainly is. All right, 15 laps. It is not a long ways to go. Buckle up. Get yourself ready at home. It's going to go by quick. John Darnell and Dylan Jones, row 1. Mark Vondell, Ryan Bass, row 2. Ooh, John's already looking a little blinky before they even make their way to the Geico restart zone. Ryan Bass been getting great each week. He is up there now with one of the top dogs. Still struggling a little bit in qualifying, but I think he's going to have a great run right here. Green flag is in the air. PGR Thursday Night Heat Series is underway at Talladega. And we have a wreck, so we are going to come back from the break. What has happened here? We've had quite a few trucks go spinning into the tribal. It's the 39 truck. Looks like Ambrose Kniebel is involved as well. And man, just on our first lap, our kind of semi-segment, crank it up, if you will, we had a wreck. Didn't get to see the full view. We'll take a look at it here in replay in just a moment, but that did tear up a couple trucks. Ambrose looking like so far he may have gotten the worst of it. Everybody does have a faster pair, so these guys, they're not out of it yet, and they did catch the caution. They needed that break, but that was a pretty big wreck to see on lap 1. Let's go back and take another look. And Ambrose was not in the initial one. Yeah, this starts off of turn 4. It's going to include Danny Barnes. Looks like he was the first truck to really get out of line. Saw him up further in your screen. We're going to take a look at him here. All right, so watch this 7, and let's try to see if we can see anything from the TV follow view here. This is the 76 of William Fox behind him. Oh, man, I wonder if there was some netcode there because they didn't look like they were quite together yet. And it just hooks the 7 straight up into that outside safer barrier. And then the rest of the field charging on. A lot of these guys are just not going to have anywhere to go. But let's make sure we confirm exactly the cause of it here. It looked to me like it was netcode. Oh, yeah, it's just a little bit. You saw William Fox coming down. Not sure if he was looking to side draft Danny or maybe get close and try to hop in line as soon as he got by, but never any actual contact right there. And although that view doesn't really do it any justice, let me show you this from that one angle one more time here.
Yeah, it's just that right rear netcode that we talk about all the time, but I think there's inevitable contact that's going to happen anyways with William coming down the track.
Yeah, I agree. Certainly looks that way, but then once they get together, Danny Barnes talked to him in the outside wall. Now watch here, Ambrose is going to get collected in the second part. Oh yeah, it's a big hit to the outside wall. Looks like the lime green truck. I think that was Jeremy Osborne. Yeah, sure enough, he was involved. Cole Fitzpatrick, the 39 truck. Just nowhere for a lot of these guys to go, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Ambrose trying to get into the stall. He's got a broken right front suspension. Hopefully he can get his fast repair here.
76.
Doesn't look like he had it checked, though, so that's unfortunate.
It says 76 had pretty heavy damage in that. Let's take one more look. And, you know, Baker, with these, although you have that fast repair, you can't really play too many games with deciding when to use it because it's just not enough laps here. You got to kind of have that fast truck right from the get-go, and you got to be able to be fast the whole race to go to the front. So I think if you have any damage that's slowing you down, especially with these relaxed cautions, you might just have to take it and just try to work your way the best to the front. And if it doesn't work out, maybe it's just not meant to be. I mean, you can run the strategy of, you know, maybe just a little damage. You can still maybe hang with the pack, but you're not going to have speed to get to the front. But then if we don't get a caution the rest of the way, you're really going to find yourself in trouble here at the end of this event. So it looks like it's going to be Dylan Jones being scored as your leader. Looking like he can maybe steal the $30 here this week. See what he can do. He'd like to go back-to-back, win this one and the next one. Boy, that would be a lot of money to go home with. Ryan Baste starting second. Richard Elliott third. It's going to be John Darnell back in fourth. Mark Vondell fifth. Hunter Parsons in sixth. Derek Raleigh in seventh. J.R. Miller eighth. Christian Sanford in ninth. Zach Range running at your top 10. Sarah Clamper 11th. But that's the bubble. We didn't really mention this in pre-race. Baker, you may have, but I may have forgot to. Only a 40 truck field tonight for the main event, and we had a ton of drivers enter this race tonight. In fact, I believe it was 56. I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, 56 guys today. So we're going to have 16 drivers going home at the end of this LCQ. Only 10 drivers going to advance from this first one. So you're not safe just by being in the front half of the field as Michael Triscaro is popping into the driver cams. He will be in your feature event later tonight, qualified in on time. So will Cody Nagels, Jeff Merck, Trevor Osmernoth, and Richard Elliott, the other 4 drivers carrying onboard cameras for us here tonight. See if we can get a word with them a little bit later, but as we are going to get the one to go signal right here, already now we're going to have ticked off 4 laps. Be interesting to see if guys decide to calm down a little bit or crank up the energy that much more. As it looks like we already got some people in the chat. Robert Miller, Dottie, Big Rick Energy says, let's go Based. Heath Job just sitting down to watch. Good to see you in here, Heath. Says, come on, Baker, pump it up. Woogie Wolf says, come on, anyone but Baker. Baker, sounds like you got some guys in the chat wanting a little more energy right now. What's going on?
Well, I'm just not feeling good right now, but I'll crank up the energy once we get down to the nitty-gritty. Also going through the race control stuff. A lot of people talking, trying to sort that out.
Certainly still doing a good job. We appreciate you being here. The double duty. You know what? I'll tell you what. He's got it down to about a rhythm now. I mean, the only time that you're really not hearing Baker on the co-commentary is at the start of a caution. Of course, has to go down there and sort it out. But that's the breakdown time anyway, so he doesn't have to be there for the start of it. But he's certainly watching, taking a look, and we get to hear the feedback afterwards. Let's look further towards the back on some of these guys that are going to have their hands full now. William Fox, Jeremy Osborne, both down over 10 positions from where they started. They got to start scrambling their way to the front and do it soon. Cole Fitzpatrick catching the field. He's got a long ways to go. Ace Wells, one of the drivers, I think this is his debut race here tonight. We don't normally see him. He's having a decent run so far, down 4 from where he started. But in sense of, you don't have any guys in here, really any teammates that we know of at least. So to be up here running inside the top 20 or just outside the top 20 in your first race, not too bad. Still has plenty of time.
Yeah, still has plenty of time. Another guy I'm watching is Dylan Jones, looking to go back-to-back in his LCQs here. So that'd be a nice $60 for him in back-to-back weeks, getting it done in the LCQ. Another truck I'm impressed with here is Ryan Bass, as the pace car is going to pull off. We're going to come back to green with 11 to go here.
And remember, the triple truck challenge does not apply to these LCQs, so even if Dylan Jones wins 3 in a row, he wouldn't get the 150 bonus. However, if he can win 3 of the main features, which he can do by winning the LCQs, then he certainly would. Green flag is back in the air. Dylan Jones on the bottom, Ryan Bass up top, Richard Elliott. How about that 99 truck of John Darnell still up here? He's had a couple good runs, and it seems like a lot of the weeks gets caught up in a wreck in these LCQs, doesn't work out for him. Got to be rooting for him tonight. He's got to feel like he's got a chip on his shoulder at this point. Bottom line gets rolling early, and Baker, another one of the guys that I'm surprised to see in here is Richard Elliott. Really thought that he would have qualified in on time. We've seen him do it before, but we've also seen him with a good finish in the feature before, and that's probably why he's running so strong here in the LCQ.
Yeah, and I think it just comes down to everyone's getting close to each other within the times. I mean, from first to 30th, you're only separated by about 0.2, and I mean that's a lot in these trucks, but still, it's a lot of work, a lot of practice that goes into this.
And they are already back to 3 wide here, only on the first lap in for the restart. Didn't take long to get that way. The bottom line seems to be rolling a little bit more. Got to think with, I wouldn't say hot track temp, but definitely a little bit warmer than room temperature. The top's going to come in nicely at some point, but we'll keep an eye to see if it cools down, warms up, stays the same throughout the race. But man, John Darnell looking a little dicey there in the middle, currently pushing Ryan Bass. Just behind him, though, getting a pretty good push right now from the 20 of Zach Range, who's already up 8 from where he started. In the top line, J.R. Miller was trying everything in his power to get the 15 truck up there, but their momentum just kind of going to die out here. Derek Relay, he is in this mix, up 6 from where he started. And just like that, the third lane is back to pretty much nothing as JR jumps to the inside. They're all going to abandon ship. Sierra Clampert about the 6 truck back on the bottom. She's looking to move up, and man, we might be getting forward here before too long. Here comes Zach Range on the top.
And he's getting pushed by Kenneth McCullough. He's been wanting to try and get to the front, get hooked up with Dylan Jones, a truck he knows he can get pushed by and push. We all have different teammates, but when there's people who are out here who are always in the money, they seem to find each other first. As you see him giving a great push to Zach Range, it's going to double clear. Kenny's going to get clear to the middle along with Zach Range. If they can both pull to the middle here, it'd be a great move. And they both do, and they're going to go all the way to the bottom. Great push from Kenneth McCullough. That just shows you that he's one of the top dogs out here, and he's coming out to prove his worth.
Yeah, all it took was one caution to get him back up here, and he has immediately found his way to the front. He's looking for more here. He doesn't want just to get to the front. He wants the lead of this thing. Going to hop right up in front of Dylan Jones, who had gotten shuffled back a couple positions. And on that note that you said about the guys able to find the good guys, that's how it works, right? I mean, if you don't have any teammates, who's the next guys you're going to look for? The guys that you either race with the most or the guys that you know are the fastest. At least if you're looking to win, that's what you got to do. Here comes the 17 truck on the outside, getting a push from J.R. Miller. That is Wendell Clark. I don't think we've seen Wendell too many times out here. If we have seen him at all, this could be one of his first races, and he is certainly looking strong. One of the drivers that we have, looks like from Canada, in here tonight, and he is up 6 spots from where he started already. JR continues to commit to guys on that third line. Just haven't been able to get it rolling just yet. We saw that third lane work once when they had about 5 trucks stacked up, but they just seem more content to get back to double file and try to keep shuffling guys down to that low lane.
Oh, you got to think if you're the top 10. Oh, big wreck out back. 1 car around. You see 1, 2, 3 cars around. We're going to keep it green here. No caution. They're going to keep it relaxed yellow.
And there goes the 7 truck of Elijah Haughey. And that's a tough break. As, with the no caution there for him, he has got major damage. So does the 17 of Wendell Clark, we were just talking about. And guess who else? John Darnell. Been talking about the bad luck. Down 23 from where he started. And if he can hold on to the draft, maybe he's got a shot, but I just don't think he's going to be able to do it. But they got really, really separated from all of that, and now the front pack is kind of trimmed down to, I would say, only about 10 trucks or so.
Yeah, it's right around 11 trucks. So look for these people to try and maybe push the issue that are past that 5th row. I mean, there's 13 trucks in this lead pack. You're gonna get about 5 or 6 more back by the time you get to the checker flag. So look for them to try and line up here and get all that draft that they can to get back in this fight.
Let's see if we can take a look at the replay before these guys get too crazy. What happened with that last incident? And it was towards the back with John Darnell, so that's where we're going to go.
Kenneth has blinked out.
And as we hear the news that Ken McCall Jr. has blinked out, this is taking a look back at that wreck. Watch John Darnell. He's in the back looking for it. And we're going to see if we can get a better view of it here. Oh, this starts ahead of him, so there you go. Going to be about the 6th row back. Yeah, the 7 truck. Does he come up a little bit, or do they come down on him? No, he's coming up a little bit, and there's some contact. And then that contact sends him up into the 17. Oh, John was trying to sneak by just an innocent victim. Andy Barnes had gotten some damage from that as well. But we stayed green, so we're not going to look at it too long because we got to get back up front to where the action continues to stay heated. About 5 laps to go, and at the same time, we got a $5 super chat from Heath Job. Heath, we'll take a look at that super chat a little bit more in detail here at the end of this thing. We got to keep all eyes on track, though, for just a moment because the 11 of Dylan Jones has gotten his way back to the lead. He races side by side with Zach Range, and that outside is yet again being led by the 15. We'll see if he can get up there again.
And something that we didn't catch because you were looking at the last wreck, Kenneth McCullough blinked out and came back to the back part of this lead draft pack, so he's having to work his butt back off to get back up to the front, and hopefully he can get it done.
And him being able to stay in there is still going to be big enough for him to have a chance. 4 laps to go now, and they are 3x3. This whole pack, not all of these trucks are going to make it through to the next one. Last guy in the transport spot right now is J.R. Miller, but the other guys in this pack that wouldn't be moving on right now would be William Fox, Joshua Penland, Landon Benson, Ace Wells, Ken McCall Jr., Sierra Clampert, and Tucker McClendon, who you can see, I think he's in the trap, but if he is, he's just barely hanging on. Ooh, there was almost some contact between 2 of your leaders right there. Ryan Bass was really trying to side draft Dylan Jones, and Zach Range finally came back up a little, but man, these guys are starting to get really out of shape as we come to 3 to go.
Coming to 3 to go. Dylan Jones looking strong at the bottom, though. Zach Range doing a great job on the bottom, keeping him even with that middle lane. You saw how dominant that 3rd lane came towards the later half of that run, but I think this track temp is really making all the lanes very racy. If you've got good organization, you have a good chance.
See Sierra Clampert in that 23 truck. I think she's got to get to the high line. There she goes. If she wants a chance of this, going to put her 4th in line on the top. Ryan Bass still leads the middle of the 28 truck just behind him. And 28, Christian Sanford, he's been having a good run so far in this LCQ. Had to push his way to the front about midway through it and has not looked back since J.R. Miller has finally gotten himself in position now. And the Lions are starting to gridlock up just a little bit here. Oh, we got return in the middle of the pack. That's the 7 truck back up the track. That's going to be 3 trucks involved in this one. Caution is going to fly. So the 7 goes down the track, and that is a huge break that a lot of these guys needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a break that Kenneth McCullough wanted to see. Looks like he got turned into the outside wall, or got into the back of the 7-7, got turned around down to the inside, and then the chaos just ensued there.
Let's go back and take a look here. Got caught up in reading the chat in just a moment. Looks like we got a little smack talk going on. Kind of funny, but hey, either way, let's see. We were getting close to the finish, but it was just one of those things where the perfect chaos can only last for so long. And something finally went wrong, and yeah, it looks like a little too much pushing and shoving going on to me, Baker, here in the middle of the pack. Looks like maybe a little bit of a stack up. Ken McCall Jr. is on the back bumper of the 7 truck and just kind of turns him around. That turns him down into the 52, who had nowhere to go, and then tries to save it, coming back up the track, gets back up into Ken McCall Jr., and this is the one that's going to hurt. Big shot for the 7 truck. You see Ken's trapped in it. I think Sierra, does she sneak by this? As long as she doesn't hit William Fox, she's going to be fine. And so far, so good. Yep, she is going to sneak by it. Good news for all the Sierra fans out there. And then I think there's going to be a little bit more contact right here. 7. Ooh, that's a pretty big shot into the backside. That's not where he's going to have the most damage, though. That front hit is what's really going to cost him and make him have to use that fast repair. And there you see Ken McCall Jr. with the heavy damage as well. Let's take one more look at it right here. A couple more looks, rather. Here's Ken McCall Jr.'s view. Let's look at his cockpit cam, and if it's just... I think it's just going to look like a little much of a push right here. Yeah, you see how tight he's tucked up. Starts to get offset. He knows it's go time. He knows he's got to find a way to make something happen, trying to help the line, but unfortunately just can't quite push that far back. And he's got most of his damage from what it looked like in the right front and the right side. But it was heavy. I think he does have a fast repair, though. So going back live, this is going to put us in one of those 3 green-white checkers here for the LCQ, the first of 3. And let's go back to the chat here, check some things out. We had a lot of replies here. Could not check it out everything. Looks like Jeff Merck saw he was in the chat. Heath Job, Woogie Wolf. David Overstreet says watching PGR on Ghost Racing Network on the 70-inch screen tonight. My goodness. Well, I hope the picture and sound looks good from there. Holy moly. Woogie Wolf says go Davenport. Heath Job says go Elliott. Robert Rock with the rock and roll sign. Bosley Games says wish I could have raced, but got screwed by work. Well, we hate to hear that. Hopefully we'll see you out here next week or in the coming weeks. Heath Job says Raleigh getting it. Robert Miller, come on, Ken McCall Jr. But then we stopped at Heath Job, who landed the big $5 super chat first one of the night, and he is probably going to put himself back up on the leaderboard for super chats, currently being led by Richard Elliott. Again, big thanks, Heath Job, for the $5 super chat. Don't forget, you guys, if you like what we're doing out here, you want to leave us $1 or $2 tip, we always can appreciate it. Hit that super chat button just below the chat area. Big Rick Energy says 73 all day. Mike Davenport relaxed cautions in the LCQ so it doesn't take forever. And then looks like Woogie Wolf and Heath Job getting a little dicey to each other in the chat. What did it look like to you, Baker, on that last wreck? Just Ken maybe pushing a little too hard?
Oh, sorry, say it again. I was talking race
No
control.
worries. I was going to say, it looked to me like Ken maybe just pushing a little too hard on that last wreck.
Yeah, Ken just offset push. He's going to get the EOL for it. He claimed it as soon as it happened.
Woogie Wolf says, thanks for broadcast and fun to watch. We certainly appreciate it. 28 viewers already. We're not even in the feature yet. I'm hoping that's more guys that are going to be sticking around than just drivers. I know we got some of you in here. Big congrats to all the drivers that are watching that did make it to the feature. You think this one's crazy? Boy, we're going to see some real crazy stuff after this. The payout's going to be bigger than they were last week, of course. But going to be a 3-truck smaller field still. So hoping that cleans up the racing maybe just a little bit more. I think 40 is going to be the sweet spot, probably the number that PGR will stay at from here on out. We'll have to see. But it's going to be Dylan Jones and Ryan Basin making up row 1. Zach Range and Christian Sanford making up row 2. And then how about Richard Elliott and J.R. Miller going to be making up row 3. I got a good feeling about those two. I think they could work together really well if they wanted to. We'll have to see what they decide to do. And then Sierra Clampert, she's moved up. Looks like she is now sitting in 12th position. So she's still going to have to find 2 to 3 more positions to get herself through to the next race. And then, you know, some of these guys further in the back, John Darnell, actually looks like John is being scored a lap down. He may have had to pit and lost a lap. So he's hoping maybe they pile up big time here and we can somehow get another caution. Not sure that we will, though. Danny Barnes, Ken McCall Jr., they need to get back to the front. Taylor Peacock. We know how much talent this guy has, but just seems like it has not been his night so far, Baker. Wonder if he's got something here for the end. Kevin Nagel says in chat, NBG for the big payouts. Let's go in the feature. 2 laps to go. First overtime here of the night. Remember, if we take the white flag, then this LCQ will be official, even if everybody wrecks up. Whoever can get it started and get back to the line first will be declared your winner. $30 on the line, unless that payout was changed, potentially increased, not sure. But as of right now, from what we know, it is going to be $30 to your LCQ winner tonight. Doesn't pay anything to come in second, doesn't pay anything to come in last. Only spot paying is first. However, you still advance if you make it through from the top 10. So how is everybody going to play their hand right here? Dylan Jones probably considered the top guy when you look at guys up here. But Ryan Baste, one of the newer guys who has been on fire in terms of getting better each and every week, been very aggressive. He's got one of the new guys, Christian Sanford, behind him. He's very aggressive. We'll see what those two can do on the outside. And can Zach Range push Dylan Jones hard enough to stay out in front for 2 more laps? Green flag is back in the air at Talladega.
A little bit of shuffling out by Mark Vondel there on the high side. He tucks back in line. That's going to kill the momentum on the top lane.
They'll have to get it back together here pretty quick. Sure enough, they do. Mark Vondel now back to the back bumper of the 15. Baste is going to have a big run on the backstretch. We'll see if it's enough for him to get clear. Here you go. Range is also locked up on the bottom. Richard Elliott's going to go ahead and tag on. That makes it a 3-truck tandem on the bottom versus a 2-truck tandem up top. 73 is pushing, but it looks like it's just not quite going to be enough. Sierra Clampert starting to fall a couple positions now. She is up to 12th, now back to 13th. She's going to have to find a couple more, but now we're going to see a third lane. Mark Vondel tried to shuffle out the 15. Couldn't do it just yet. We're going to be coming to the white flag this time if we can make it through the tri-oval.
White flag is going to fly this time. You see the 3 wide starting. Another move from the 15 up top. Vondel's going to have to really work to try and get into this transfer spot. Zach Range leads there at the line. Who's going to lead? Coming to the finish. Clampert gets turned. Vondel gets turned to the outside. Ambrose trying to make it through. He gets turned.
Everybody's wrecking out back. This is going to make that transfer spot interesting. Mark Vondel has it, but he's going to try to slide.
Range gets turned.
They're wrecking up front, too, now. Oh, my goodness. Who's going to get the final spot? Range goes for a slide on the backstretch, trying to get it back rolling, but I think he's going to be too far back. Last man in right now is Landon Benson, but it's not over just yet. He still has some competition. That 7-truck is pretty banged up. Can anybody catch him? Let's go back up front. Here comes Dylan Jones, Richard Elliott, and Ryan Baste roaring off a turn 4. For the final time, they're going to stay 3 by 3 in both lanes. Does anybody look 3 wide? Who's going to get more momentum? Baste on the top, Jones on the bottom. It's a drag race to the line. It is going to go to Dylan Jones. He sneaks out, goes back to back.
Great run by Dylan. Good run by Ryan Baste as well.
And Landon Benson right there at the line takes the final position. He is going to be the final transfer. Hunter Parsons just missing it. Just too much damage on the truck after the big wreck on the last lap. Man, Baker, you hate to see him end that way for the guys in the back, but a phenomenal finish nonetheless up front.
Absolutely.
Let's see if we can go back and take a quick look at that wreck before it moves us on to the heat event. Or the feature event, excuse me, warm-up. And let's see exactly where this is going to start. Well, I can tell you kind of where it starts. It starts mid-pack. And just looks like a jumble there. Sierra was the first truck to get sideways. Does she look 4 wide here, or does she get a push out? You see once she does get out, she immediately tries to drop back down low, but it's just too late. And it looks like... I was trying to see if it was going to give us a chance here to review that one more time. I'm not sure that it's going to. That was William Fox. I'm assuming one of the drivers. This was after the finish, yeah. So to see that wreck, we're not going to be able to see it all again. But let's just keep a focus on the finish up front because that was the real exciting part here at the end. And I'm telling you, this was close. Watch it from the flagman's view. He sees him drag racing down the short chute to the line, and it goes to Dylan Jones by, I mean, fractions of a second. Oh, my goodness. There was a late move from Christian Sanford there. Got to wonder if that was all that Jones needed to get the win. Maybe Baste would have had enough momentum. And that's, you know, Baker, I don't know if you're still here while these guys are warming up or not, but it's a little bit of a surprising move from the 28. I mean, that late to make the move, you're not going to win it. At that point, I almost think just stick with the guy, maybe make some friends for the feature. Either way, he thought different of it. All right, so you see it there on the left of your screen, 3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in warm-up. We are going to head to a quick break as Bob Marley says, what happened to Range? Unfortunately, we don't get to see the full replay as with the format of the way the race is set up. It advances the race, so we can't go back to the old session. However, he did get turned coming off of turn 2 from what we could see initially, and unfortunately just couldn't get it fired and back into position in enough time. So we will be right back. Stick with us here on Ghost Racing Network and get tuned. Get ready for the PGR Thursday Night Heat Series feature event. We'll be right back. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway, getting ready for the start of the feature event for the Thursday Night Heat Series. Going to get a quick word with Dylan Jones here in just a moment. But before we do, let's get into your starting grid for the main event here tonight. Steve Korsak gets the pole for Dale Cup. Andrew Navarro going to be to his outside in second. Zachary Lima starts third. Alex Hill in fourth. Gabe Butler and Thomas Parker making up row 3. Going to be John Ward and Jason Maines in row 4. Cody Nagel starts ninth, and it's going to be Matt Lee rounding out your top 10.
Garrett Mates in 11th with a really bad qualifying effort. I've never seen him that low in the qualifying effort. 12th for Kenneth Stamper, 13th for Michael Triscaro, 14th for John Ellis, David Sheets in 15th, Daniel Eberhardt in 16th. He actually put down a lap for once. Jeff Merck in 17th, Dawson Weiss in 18th, Bradley Stefani in 19th, and John Malahan 20th.
21st is going to be one of the winners here, not last week, but the week before. That's Trevor Osmernoth. Chris Blanchard starts 22nd. Mike Davenport 23rd. Brian Bessard in 24th. Devin Ray 25th. Sean Corbett in 26th. Aubrey Thompson 27th. Ron Morse Jr. in 28th. Dustin Carruthers 29th. And Philip Wilkinson rounding out your top 30.
Dylan Jones in 31st, our LCQ winner. Ryan Baste in 32nd. Richard Elliott in 33rd. Christian Sanford in 34th.
35th is going to be J.R. Miller, Derek Relly in 36th. William Fox starts 37th. Tucker McClendon made it in 38th. Jeremy Osborne starts 39th. And Landon Benson going to be rounding out the field for our 40 trucks here tonight. All right, Dylan Jones, Austin Baker up in the booth. I know we're getting ready to go green, but want to grab a quick word with you. Got a copy?
Sure do.
Well, back-to-back weeks, man. How do you make it keep working in the LCQ, and what's going to be the strategy here for the big race?
I don't know. I wasn't even trying to get in it this week. I'm just that bad at Q. But we definitely got the LCQ figured out, 2 for 2. But we got to figure out how to run the races, because I don't think I've finished one yet in probably last month. So got to have some better luck tonight, hopefully.
Well, it'd be a lot of money here if you can go back-to-back tonight. Is there any thought for the future for trying to continue to make it into the LCQ? I know you said tonight was by accident, but man, you're so good at them. I got to think, does that become a team strategy to put you in it every week?
Maybe, but I don't want to be the crash test dummy, so I'm going to try and queue again. We might have to practice on that a little bit.
All right. Good luck tonight, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, guys.
As we send Dylan Jones back up to his team, we send it back down to the booth. Baker and Austin Green, we're ready to go here on Ghost Racing Network. It's going to be 40 laps of fast-paced, high-banked action here at Talladega Superspeedway. Green flag is in the air for the feature event. All right, first lap completed, and it is going to be led by Zachary Lima, who currently leads the inside. He's got his teammate Steve Korsak on the outside. Dale Cup, you know how good they are, but when they can get even one extra teammate in the field, man, oh man, look at the performance they could put on here early. They're going to be a big contender tonight for NBG, along with the Mains boys, McCall Motorsports, all the big different teams that we have in here. As we see Matt Lee looking 3 wide early again. There are green flag stops, so I say it each and every week. I know these guys want track position, but I think if we stayed a little bit calmer early, we'd probably see more green flag stops. But apparently nobody really wants to see him too much tonight, as everybody's going to go ahead and leave Steve Korsak all to the middle by himself, except for his teammate Zachary Lima, who jumps up to the top. He is trying everything to keep Andrew Navarro from getting clear of the middle. It's not going to happen. In fact, he's going to take Sean Hill with him, maybe Matt Lee too. How about 3 trucks from the outside now down to the middle?
Wow, great move there by the outside. Andrew Navarro getting a great push from Sean Hill. Sean Hill not being patient towards the beginning of this race. He wants to get up front. Once he's up front, he really calms down. But you see John Ellis in that brand new number 21 paint scheme. That truck looks really good out there with Matt Lee on the back bumper of Sean Hill.
And they are all 3 wide as they enter turn 3. But that third lane maybe going to start to fade a little bit here. Maybe not. They've only got 3 trucks as it sits right now. Jeff Merck, Daniel Everhart, and it looks like John Ellis Jr. didn't take him long to get back up here. Of course, he is in the newer paint scheme. Now, Baker, I want to ask you something here that looked a little interesting tonight. It looked to me like I saw Everhart in the mains Discord. I thought he was on McCall Motorsports. What happened?
It sounds like he's just swapping what he can, but I know he's probably not splitting the money with the mains boys, so he's probably just helping them out towards the end and then getting what he could get.
On the bottom right now, leading the way is Alex Hill. He's got a push from Andrew Navarro. NBG now has the bottom and middle locked up, but up top it's the main boys getting one of the mains boys getting pushed by Daniel Eberhardt. Steve Korsek and Zachary Lima are trapped in the middle. And as I paused for just a minute, I saw a thing in the chat. Go ahead. Yeah, there it is. I was going to say I paused for a minute because I just had some data that we may have had an issue in the back. Sure enough, we do. It's the 761 of William Fox and the 71 of Derek Raleigh. Oh, some more contact after. Landon Benson. Couldn't tell if he hit him or not right there. A lot of smoke. Let's go back and take a look at it. First caution of the night falls pretty early here. Seems to have been a relatively minor incident. I guess that's good news in a certain sense. But, this collects a couple more trucks than what it first looked like. That's J.R. Miller and William Fox. Oh, even ahead of this. So it's going to be the 11 of Brian Bassard, who's going to be the first truck to go around. Let's go to the chopper view for it. And then after that is where we're going to see some of these other guys get collected. But let's start with the 11. What happens here?
Looks like a little bit of teammate-on-teammate action going on.
Yeah, it certainly does. Just looks like it hooks him in the right rear, turns him into that outside wall. That's a pretty big hit. You see the front bumper cover fly off. And then here comes William Fox, who tags him. Him and Christian Sanford get together. J.R. Miller was in it. And there's Derek Raleigh on the apron. Couldn't get slowed down at time. Then spins up on the track, but it's okay so far. And, man, that was a close call for the 7 of Landon Benson, who actually did not make contact like I initially thought. Good news for him, but bad news for some of the guys involved in this wreck. As just as you said, Baker teammate on teammate, and it was a little early. I got to think they were trying to get back up to the pack, but plenty of time. Seems like a mistake you got to be real careful making. And here's J.R. Miller on the secondary contact with William Fox. What sends him around? I don't think his damage is too bad. Wherever it is, it's mostly in the back. I think Brian Bassard definitely probably got the worst of that one. Let's take two more views of it here. And it doesn't take much in these trucks. Watch this. Just slight contact. And you can see he had the wheel cranked to the left, but just nothing he could really do anymore.
Yeah. I think they were just trying to fall in line. I feel pretty bad.
Yeah, you kind of expect that as teammates can sometimes. Just that slight misjudgment. Either way, no harm, no foul, because every single one of these guys tonight has a fast repair to use in this 40-lap affair. And again, the fuel is the same as the LCQ. 60%. Baker, we expect that around 16 laps as usual, I believe.
Yeah, it's 16 laps, 16 to 17. If you're saving pretty well, 18. But just look around 16 to 18 laps.
So if we do, let's say we call it 16, maybe even 17 laps, these guys can all make it 34 laps from here. That's going to put us right about at a 1 stop if we were to go green the rest of the way. From when we do go green here, it doesn't look like we got the one to go yet. We're going to go an extra time around. In the chat, Heath Job says, get it, driver. Zach Range says, got spun. The guy who did it went through also. Don't agree with it. Range got screwed. I'll tell you what, Zach, I know it's frustrating, man. Me and Baker have both been in races. We've had similar things happen. I know I can't really speak for you tonight as I'm not in the race, but we certainly were watching it. We saw it happen. We hate that it happened to you. You were having a heck of a run. Hopefully it doesn't discourage you too much. Sometimes that's part of the beast. Even if you do nothing wrong, you still catch yourself in situations where you really couldn't have done anything to prevent it. You just got to keep your head down, shake it off, know that you didn't do anything wrong, try to move on from it. Looks like Bradley Steffen is being scored as your leader. Man, already up 18 positions from where he started. Sean Corbett in second, Alex Hill third, Matt Lee fourth, Zachary Lima fifth, Andrew Navarro sixth, John Ellis Jr., Steve Korsek in eighth, Gabe Butler 9th, and John Ward from McCall Motorsports rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, and it looks like Bradley and Sean, they're staying out. So they're trying a different strategy, get that track position. They know that if there's another caution towards the back, everyone's going to come down pit road and fuel up, and they'll have that net gain of that track position.
I like that call. I think if you can't beat the big teams, you got to try something different to maybe beat them. But as the lights go off, Baker, let's talk about how, Dale Cup, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but added, I would say 1 to 2 more members. Sometimes we see Steve in the Thursday one. But overall, in money racing in general now, I feel like we see Gabe Butler and more of them. So Gabe Butler with the 2 additional teammates tonight, he's going to have a much better night, you got to expect, as good as he normally is. But Dale Cup in general, could they maybe find one of their guys at victory lane for the first time tonight here for the PGR Heat Series?
Yeah, it just seems like when they get down to the end, either they make one mistake or they just get caught up in someone else's mess. Hopefully they can get through, get a little bit of that luck that, MBG's had in the past couple of weeks, or KSR.
If you're just tuning in, we appreciate you being here. Almost already a fourth of the way through this race. 40 laps, it's... I don't know how I guess you would put it. It doesn't sound like that many laps, but at a track that's 2.65 miles in length, I think it's about the perfect distance. It gives these guys a chance to where if the racing's clean, they can get a pit stop or 2 in. Maybe it's a little messy. It still gives us enough time to get 1 pit stop in. And at the end of the race, you still feel like you had to go through a little bit of endurance to get here. You can't just go full sprint necessarily from the drop of the green. But then again, we see some of those guys do this each and every week, and it seems to work out the best to go full sprint from the start, that is. The 30, Kenneth Stamper, didn't have the best week last week, and he's probably wishing he had his teammate up here right now, Brian Bassard. Brian, I would assume, had to probably use the faster pair. He is going to be further towards the back. Yeah, in 37th right now. Does look like the truck is cleaned up, though. That's the good news. The bad news is he's got all that work ahead of him to get back to where he was. Daniel Eberhardt, what do you make of this, Baker? All of a sudden, he's fallen to 39th, down 23 from where he started.
Yeah, it looks like Merck and Daniel had speeding penalties. Pace car's going to pull off. We're going to see these 2 new trucks here up front trying to make their name and try and stay up front. Bradley's working with Richard Elliott tonight, and then Sean Corbett's part of that KSR group. So look for them to try and get their teammates, but they got a long ways to get to them as the green flag's going to come in the air.
Seems like leading the field here at Talladega these days in money racing is more of a privilege than it is the right. We'll see how long Matt Lee allows that privilege to Sean Corbett. He has the option to split him. The question is, would anybody go with him? Now we're going to see Bradley drop to the bottom in front of Alex Hill. I think that's a good move here for the 19. He knows he can't get split from the bottom. All they're going to be able to do is try to pass him up top. Sean Corbett's starting to make a run back. Matt Lee still sticks behind him for now. Zachary Lima and Steve Korsek, they're together. I thought one of them would make the move, but John Ward's going to beat him to it. All the other guys are going to leave the 92 of John Ward out. He's not going to be too happy about that one. He is going to fall all the way to the back as they go through turn 3 and 4.
Oh, man, that looked coordinated between everyone that was not on John Ward's team. It was like every other team was in the Discord to hang him out there.
And you keep notes of that, right? We talked about, I believe it was a Tuesday Night Thunder, when Dawson Wise was up here with me in the booth. McCall Motorsports, they've been struggling a little bit. It's not that they haven't had the speed. We just haven't seen the wins accumulating like we had been there for a little while. Now, I know that money racing goes through phases, but it just seems like the newer package came out after about, month and a half in. All of a sudden, NBG has gotten on top, and they have just been incredible, as that was a big wiggle. It looked like from Steve Korsek, or maybe Sean Corbett, couldn't tell. Everybody does hold on, though, and the bottom is fading big time here. Sean's going to go ahead and drop down to it, and that's a big move from Zachary Lima. He looks to the inside now of Matt Lee. Alex Hill's going to stick with the 04. Lima's got a huge gap. The problem is he's got no one to go with him. Steve Korsek jumps to the top. Lima's going to fall all the way back down to the 3rd position on the inside, and just like that, Cody Nagels is back out in front. He's got 2 teammates to his inside, but he gets turned. Big hit for Cody Nagels, and a lot of them are going to spin. This one's going to bring the caution out. Oh, no. And Cody is destroyed. Not even going to be able to bring that one back. He's going to have to go straight to the tow bill. Let's take a look. Just as we noted, he got the lead. He got hooked, it looked like. Might be some net code, but we're going to take a look to find out. Let's go to the chopper view. And no, there's Oh, and I apologize. There's the screen went a little dark for me. Give me just a minute. There we go. He definitely got hooked by Garrett. But again, my screen went black, so we're going to back this up one more time and see if... Is Navarro maybe just slightly pushing him up and then Garrett's trying to side draft, or is Steve pushing Garrett down? These are all the questions here that's so hard to tell from the initial view. Steve was pushing Garrett. Steve may have got Garrett a little loose. It kind of looks like he did. But eventually they get together, Baker. I mean, that's just really tight side drafting with both pushers pushing their guys really hard. And eventually they do get together. And once Garrett hits his right rear, that turns Cody hard into the outside wall. Looks like that's Jason that goes for a slide. But Cody, the only guy that really ends up with damage. Take a couple more views of it. Right on the cockpit now for Cody Nagel, see what he saw. And he didn't see much. Well, he saw the lead for just a moment, and then there you go. The rest of the field's able to go by without issue. There's Ryan Bass sneaking by. Cody makes sure he does whatever he's got to here to hold up in the wall, hoping that nobody else tags him. That's a tough break for Cody. You always feel like going for the lead. Once you get to it, you're going to be in the safest position, but that was just not the case here. And I'm telling you, I just do not understand how some of these guys, such as David Sheets, were able to miss that wreck with the slight contact that they made. I mean, in fact, let's just go ahead and ride on board one more time here with somebody. It's got to be David Sheets. Watch how close. I think they go 4 wide right here while they're wrecking just to split it all. Watch this. Yeah, they do. Slight contact for David Sheets on the side, but he's going to be okay. Definitely a lot better than what was going to happen. Let's go back. Or let's not go back. Let's go forward. Up front to see where we find Mr. Chris Blanchard. Out in front, Jeff Merck in second. Merck is one of the guys carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. And we got to start whipping those out here, but now that we are 12 laps in, there's Jeff. Been talking about he's been having some bad luck lately, and he's going to be trying yet again to turn it around tonight. The good thing about being on a team such as NBG is even when you're having bad luck, as long as you're contributing to the team, which he does and stuff, you're still helping yourself out, because the better the team finishes, the more money that everybody's going to be able to split between each other. Maybe tonight's the night for Jeff. We'll have to see. He's going to be starting from the 4th position right here. Maybe one of the guys that everybody's going to keep their eye on who's going to be starting from the 7th position is going to be Trevor Oswernoff. Won 2 weeks ago in what was the biggest payout for first place, I think, in PGR history besides the special Summer Slam event. And he got it all on the last lap. We'll see if he can get it again here tonight. Richard Elliott carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. He is going to be starting in 22nd position for this restart. Got the Ghost Racing Network merch on. I love that shirt. That is a cool looking shirt. In fact, I got a shirt coming in for myself. Should be here the next Monday or Tuesday. I guess the only thing I need to get next is maybe a webcam. Although I don't know if anybody really, if I need a webcam for anything. And then the last 2 guys carrying onboards for us tonight are Cody Nagels. Oh boy, I wish I would have remembered that when I took a look, because I'm sure he was not too happy of a guy, and he's probably discussing with the team right now how they're going to be able to work on getting back up there. But he's going to have a lot of work ahead of him. And Michael Triscaro, final driver carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. There he is. He's got the Good Wrench hat on, the triple monitor setup. And he is going to be rolling off from the 13th position for this restart. Should get the 1-to-go signal this time, I would have to assume. Looks like Chad Byam says Range got screwed. 02 car can't drive. Range is an upcoming star. They wreck on purpose. Robert Miller says, let's go John Ward. Yeah, for him. 2 cautions, 13 laps in here, Baker. What do you make of that last one, though?
Yeah, it just looked like a racing deal to me. That's what I was talking to them about. Andrew kind of pushes him up a little bit, but Cody has enough time to get back down to the middle. And once Garrett gets to Cody's right bumper, not even right rear, it looks like it just magnetized him to the left front, and there's just nothing he could really do.
Yeah, it certainly looked that way from us up here in the broadcast booth. Just 4 guys going at it really hard. The pushers pushing with all they have. Maybe 2 guys getting loose while side drafting really close. Contact's going to happen. You're going to see it. You know, I guess better to see a caution on a wreck of hard racing than to see somebody just doing something stupid. So you can't get too upset about it, that's for sure. Now, Chris Blanchard, I thought we heard earlier that he was talking about, now remember, this guy's got one of the most insane setups you'll see in here. He's got a whole moving motion sim rig, direct drive wheel. And I think he said that he was talking something about his wheel had almost ended up snapping or breaking his wrist. I've heard that from a couple guys with these direct drive wheels that they choose to run. I don't know if I could run that high force CDAC at these super speedways. I'm not trying to break my wrist in a sim race, but man, it's crazy how realistic some of these things have gotten.
Yeah, mine's a direct drive wheel, 20 Newton meters, and I barely run it over around 6 or 7 Newton meters. So it's I've tried to run it full force feedback, and it really is just way too hard.
All right, so going to be 14 laps completed when we go green. Almost, that'd be about halfway there. 7 laps from when we do take the green. Still could potentially see that one pit stop, Baker, but everybody's going to have to, I think, simmer down a little bit here for 10 laps or so, and I just don't think that's going to happen. Remember, last week we saw 40 laps straight of green flag racing. Not quite going to happen here tonight, as we've already seen the 2 cautions, but certainly could still have a great race the rest of the way. Green flag is back in the air for Chris Blanchard and Andrew Navarro. Racing off through turns 1 and 2. The 9 of Blanchard on the inside, the 42 of Navarro on the outside. Alex Hill just behind him. There goes Steve Korsak, going to jump to the top, gets right in position with Zachary Lima, his teammate. And I'll tell you what, it kind of looks like Dale Cup. Again, we don't see the 3 teammates for Dale Cup race together as much as they used to. And it seems like they're making the moves that worked plenty good in the old package. Sometimes they work in the new package, but definitely not as much, as Navarro and Hill are going to go ahead and split here to try to control the 2 lines. Hill takes the top, Navarro takes the bottom. No 3 wide just yet, but it looks like we got a couple of the McCall boys further out back starting to make a couple thoughts towards it. Thought I might have saw Ron Morse Jr., I think it was. Yeah, sure enough. He was one of the guys looking 3 wide, and now we do have some 3 wide on the top line. It's going to be the 22 and 10 truck, one of the KSR guys with one of the one-stop shop guys. That's Devin Ray, and it looks like that is going to be, can't tell you behind him, not Dustin Carruthers. Actually, it might be Dustin. He might be rocking a new paint scheme tonight. Sure enough, it is. And looks like Devin's going to drop back down to the bottom, the middle lane rather. And up front, Steve Korsak, he has now found his way to the lead on the inside, takes it away from Andrew Navarro. And 15 laps completed, going to be coming to 16 this time. Well, I'll tell you what, if we had, there's certain guys in here that I'd like to have a cam on more than others, because you can tell by the way they drive, they have to be absolutely working the wheel. Jeff Burke is one of the guys. He got a new rig recently, and that thing might potentially be a motion. I can't tell if that's his wheel or his chair bumping around.
It's a motion, full motion rig. It's about 15 grand. Hopefully his wife's not watching to hear that number, but it's a lot of money. It's more than 10 times what I paid for my first car, and he just has a ball running it. I want him to get into podium position so we can get an interview with him with his helmet on.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that bet. We'll have to see if we can get Merck with the helmet on here tonight. I know he told me he would for one of these PGR races. Everybody's still 2x2 here. Baker, what'd you do? Did you go down and yell at him a little bit?
No, I just think no one's really able to gin up that run on the 3rd line like we saw in the LCQ right now. Everyone's really tucked up. There's a lot more trucks in here, and a lot, not to say better pushers, but just a little bit more organization on the bottom and middle line. And Steve Korsak is way out of shape. Someone who I'm really impressed with no surprise, is Andrew Navarro. I mean, we talk about how, you need teammates to win these races, to finish in the money. You don't need any of that. And Andrew Navarro is example 1 of how to do that. He's finished in the money all this week, finishing in 1st and 2nd. And he's just a very good, calm, cool, and collected plate driver. He makes a couple mistakes here and there, but overall, he works well with all teams. There's a wreck out back.
Wrecking out back. Looks like it's 3-4 trucks, maybe? Definitely a few trucks. Yeah, looks like it's going to collect 4. Dylan Jones is in it. Mike Davenport up, stuck on the wall up there in the banking out of 4. That looks like Jeremy Osborne. And who else do we have involved? It's Philip Wilkinson in the 4 truck. Good to see him make it into the feature tonight, but some of that damage is going to help him. As Don Merck said in the chat, no helmet. And I'm thinking she may have heard that number you mentioned, Baker, but let's go back and take a look at what brings out your third caution of the night. Oh my goodness, we had 3 trucks pretty much inside of each other at one point during this one. Ooh, is the 4, looks to me like the 4 just kind of drifts up right there. And yeah, let's play it slow. I mean, maybe slight net code, but as Baker said in one of the wrecks earlier, I think contact's pretty imminent right there. I don't think those guys aren't going to hit each other even if the net code doesn't occur. But watch the 4 here. Going to slide up the track a little bit, or does Osborne come down? No. No, it looks like Osborne comes way more down than the 4 comes up. The 4 maybe just slightly creeps up. But yeah, it looks like Osborne was coming down, hits Philip Wilkinson. That sends him into the wall. The 4 goes for a wild ride. That was a huge hit. There's Dylan Jones sliding on the bottom. I think the 7 truck, Landon Benson, makes it.
He's the first truck that takes those 2 trucks head on.
Yeah, and I mean, Baker, are we wrong? But it looks to me like Jeremy Osborne coming down. Maybe the 4 just slightly, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a meet in the middle. A little more on Osborne, but definitely some net code that caused the wreck. I think there would have been some contact, but not enough to turn him.
And there's the big shot for the 4. Gets up on the side here before sliding along the wall. We'll have to take a ride on board with that. And as you noted, Garrett Maines, who was already towards the back, this isn't going to help his progress as he's going to have to start in the back yet again. Try to board here with Philip Wilkins. And watch this hit. And that blows the engine right out of it. The 7 truck of Landon Benson. We talked about, this is the second wreck tonight, I believe, that he's been able to dodge. But this one, in my opinion, was even more impressive than the first one, at least from what I could see from the outside camera views. Let's take a look from what it looked like from the inside camera view. Here we go. He sees him wrecking up top, dives low. That's just, oh my goodness. Barely was able to turn right just in time to not T-bone Dylan Jones. He saved himself from heavy damage right there. That was too close for comfort for me. Back up front, though, John Ellis Jr. is being shown as your leader. Daniel Everhart being scored 2nd. Devin Ray in 3rd. William Fox 4th. Landon Benson, speaking of, who just missed that wreck. Look how it works out for him. He now is in the 5th position, up 35 from where he started. Jason Maines 6th. Andrew Navarro 7th. Steve Korsak 8th. Alex Hill in 9th. And Zachary Lima rounding out your top 10. Well, we always like to have a little bit of fun up here in the booth, at least at some point or another. And the best way to have fun, at least during a caution period, is to see if we can get an interview with Zachary Lima. So let's see if we can do that. Hey Zach, this is Austin and Baker up in the booth. You got a copy?
Affirmative, 10-4.
All right, well, good to see you back out here tonight. We were looking to have some fun during the caution here, so we figured we'd go ahead and interview you. Been a pretty good run so far tonight for you, Steve, and Gabe, but it looks like there's just something that you guys are still looking to find to maybe be able to hold off the big teams the way you guys used to. What is that, and how are you going to get it?
You know, I think it was just a few mistakes in the beginning that allowed the casuals to pass us, but, you know, we're not afraid one bit. You know, as part of the plan, you know, we're just setting the bait and we're getting ready to hit the afterburners.
All right, well, talk about the LCQ real quick. I know you didn't have to worry about it this week. You guys have always been super fast when it comes to qualifying, but maybe seeing a couple of these other big teams throw a driver in there to try to grab the extra $30. Are you guys worried about that, or only for this big money?
You know, I'm not too worried about it. I like the competition. You know, it's nice seeing some other guys that can run fast qual times so we can have a good battle, you know. So, you know, I'm actually looking forward to it. You know, I kind of want to get sweated.
All right, well, that's the best part about Dale Cup. You always got to give it 100%. Thanks for talking to us. We'll keep an eye on you the rest of the way and maybe see if you can find Dale Cup their first victory here tonight.
Yep, and I just got to say...
Hey, you want to run your mouth and talk shit?
All right, thank you, sir.
No problem. That's Zachary Lima. There you go. We got one of the famous sound clips here at the end. Baker, that's one of your teammates.
Oh man, that's a Cody Nagels. I've won a couple races, kind of confidence there.
NSRA championship back-to-back, Cody Nagels. And I think with every race win, Cody is going to have... Actually, we haven't got a good sound clip from Cody in a while. Hopefully we can get one tonight if he gets the win. We'll have to see, but I'm sure he wasn't too happy after that last one. He's got a lot of work ahead of him, and that tow bill that he had to pay didn't help him out either. Puts him a lap down, so we'll see if he can find a way to get that lap back now that his truck is clean. But no fast repair. He's still got to play it careful here while fighting for that lucky dog position.
Yeah, the good news is I think there's only 2 other cars on a lap down, so he should have no problem trying to stay with this lead pack. As the pace car is going to pull off here, and we're going to take the green flag here with a 20 to go halfway through this race. John Ellis Jr. leading the bottom, Daniel Eberhardt on the outside. Who's that behind John Ellis Jr.? Is that Devin Ray? Wow, what a great run from him. Devin Ray in third as the green flag's going to fly.
All right, John Ellis Jr. with the new paint scheme on the bottom. Eberhardt, we believe, working with the mains boys here tonight. Good restart for the inside. Outside, a little bit more sloppy with William Fox not quite getting up through the gears as smooth. That is going to allow John Ellis Jr. He jumps to the top. Fox thought about taking it 3 wide. He doesn't. Mains said, then I will. Steve Korsek's going to try to shuffle him out. Good news for him is he's got a teammate that's going to try to do that too, but you can see Matt Lee doesn't want that happening, and it seems like although teams are separate.
Oh man, we're forcing an issue here. Alex Hill, we're 4 wide. Sorry to cut you off.
No
4
worries.
wide, we're stuck there. Alex Hill, Jason Maines, they're banging doors.
And Jason's going to back out of it. I think that was a veteran move right there. He realized that we still got 20 laps to go, and he knows these things get a little chaotic towards the end. So, man, oh, man, you don't want to get in a wreck right now. Almost some more contact right there, man. William Fox looks like his truck is not feeling too comfortable right now in the middle of 3 wide. Everybody trying to hold it together, but real quick, Baker, hopefully I can get it in before we end up wrecking here. It seems like even though they're separate teams and the big teams all battle each other at the end, doesn't it almost seem like NBG and the mains boys had a little bit of alliance against Dale Cup here tonight?
I don't know. That move by Alex Hill really pissed off about the entire mains group. So don't look for Hill to get any help or any favors from those guys.
And I might be retracting that statement. Man, they are absolutely tearing it up right now as they enter 3. William Fox has hit almost every single guy that has passed him, at least a little bit of contact on the doors. And he washes up again, man. This is not going to end well, Baker. We can't do this.
Oh,
there we go. You knew it was coming. Big wreck. Everybody in the front saves it, but out back it's a mess. Back up the travel. Cody Nagels is in it again. Oh, and he gets T-boned this time. And he's going to come to a spinning stop down in the grass. You can see the frustration on the driver of the number 6 truck. That's what happens too. Sometimes you get caught in the back. You get stuck in these wrecks. Not your fault, but just can't seem to avoid them. And I think that may have started with William Fox, but let's go back and take a look before I say anything here. But I'll tell you what, even whether it was or wasn't, the 761 there just looked really, really uncomfortable in the middle of 3 wide. Usually guys look like they're holding a pretty smooth wheel there. Not the case for William Fox. Not sure if he just was a little nervous or what the deal was, but definitely wasn't making the guys around him too comfortable. And this is off of turn 4. You got Lima and Maines up top pushing pretty hard. There's William Fox in the middle. We'll play it in full speed. No, nothing to do with William Fox. Although he was a little bobbly, this was not his fault at all. This is going to be Jason Maines. Lima and Maines get a little bit offset of each other, it looks like right here. And yeah, Jason, once he swipes just slightly, Lima gets a little loose off of it. That turns him down into Steve. Now you got William Fox on the back bumper of Steve, but they gather it up. Maines gets down into Fox. That's what turns Fox up the track. Looks like that's going to be Jeff Merck. Yep, sure enough. We've had to say that quite a few times. Jeff Merck just absolutely nowhere to go. They tag John Mullahan as they're sliding down, and then you'll see a bunch more guys just get collected in this one as it goes on. And I want to take a couple more looks at it here. Let's actually go to Jeff Merck's, or take a look from Jeff Merck's general perspective. Here's the cockpit view. Yeah, he certainly didn't get to see too much. And yeah, he's got heavy damage to the front and back. You almost have to assume that's going to be a faster pair for the 60. From the wall cam, take another look. And I don't know if I would say that that's quite the big one, but it was certainly a pretty good sized wreck. Michael Triscaro, I think, had even got some damage before you see Dylan Jones and Thomas Parker arriving on scene late. And they arrived just late enough where they were able to slow down and avoid it. But man, again, another tough break for Cody, because I think that's also going to hurt him from getting the lucky dog. Don Merck says, just rewound it, 15,000. Someone is in trouble. And Jeff, all I want to say is, do not blame me. That's Baker up there. But we'll see. Hopefully we still get to see Jeff next week. Nonetheless, 17 laps to go. This restart's going to probably put us at 15 to go. So if you top off, even if you don't, with this caution laps here, everybody should be good to go on fuel, at least to the end of regulation. Overtime's a little bit of a different story, but hoping we don't have to worry too much about those. Garrett Maines is up to second. We talked about Sean Corbett. He is in first, up 25 from where he started. Steve Korsek's in third. Alex Hill fourth. Daniel Eberhardt in fifth. Andrew Navarro sixth. Zachary Lima seventh. John Ellis Jr. eighth. Matt Lee ninth. And Devin Ray currently rounding out your top 10. We're going to take a quick side-by-side break. We will be right back with the restart and more from Talladega. Stick with us.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by-request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Front, now we're going to see a little four-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets into the lead under record.
3x3 entering four.
Three deep. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway, getting ready for the restart here. We are starting to run out of laps again. No more pit stops expected. Going to be 15 laps to go. You know what that means? It's crunch time. These guys are all ready to go at it, and Sean Corbett finds himself in the lead at the perfect time. Not sure if he played some strategy or how he did it, but we'll see if he can hold on to it. Green flag is back in the air for the 45 and the one truck. Looks like Garrett is going to get to a better start. Ooh, and actually, Corbett's got damage on the front, Baker. They're not going to let him stay out in the lead too long, I wouldn't think, right here.
Oh, he's got a lot of front end damage. I don't know why he stayed up, but hey, he's got the track position, and he's got a truck that's helping him behind, so it looks like it's working.
Yeah, I mean, and being on the bottom, too, it's going to be harder for these guys. They're going to either have to force their way to the middle or either slowly dart up. Man, it's fishtailing him. Save it.
Shot Hill into the wall.
Not going to save it. Man, this one collects. Oh, big hit in the back. Looks like that was Bradley Steffen on John Ellis Jr. Christian Sanford's going to go for a spin. The 7. 28 comes a rolling stop, William Fox, and man, that's frustrating, Baker. And as he goes down to deal with the issue trackside, let's take a look at it here, guys. It's starting to get a little messy here tonight. And is this just going to be here? This might just be you got a guy with damage, and Steve was trying to maybe push him out of the way. But, man, he looked, once he got out of shape, he looked like he'd been trying to save it for about the entire backstretch. Just never was quite able to. Well, he actually did at the end, but by that point, the rest of the wreck had already happened. So let's take a look from the chopper. Watch Sean Corbett leading the bottom. So Steve's pushing. It looks like Steve is kind of square right there. Now it starts to get a little offset. And now it's getting really offset. But Steve's trying to back off of him. He's going to hit the 77. And then looks like Alex slight over correction. When he gets up, looks like that's John Ellis Jr., Andrew Navarro. So they both go into the wall. And then Alex, there's the big left-hand turn back into the middle of the pack that's going to finish anybody off that was in the wreck. You gotta look at that out of turn 2. And does he hit him square here? This is what I want to see more than anything, is does he hit him square on that initial? See, right here he's offset. And in fact, yeah, he's going to get offset here before we even exit 2. Gets to the right, that gets to 45 a little loose, a little more loose. But then it's really the contact that the 45 and the 77 start making after he's a little bit loose is where it just makes it worse and eventually gets it out of control where he can't really hold on anymore, and that's where the big wreck kind of sparks after. And Bradley Steffen, I'm going to show you this view. Watch the hit he takes here. This was a big shot. They're all wrecking. Everybody's just trying to dodge, and boom, John Ellis Jr. right back down in front of him, tags him in the back end. Christian Sanford looks like he may have gotten a little airtime through that as well. Take a couple more angles of it right here. And when you can't see like that, you're checking up, and at the same time, you're just trying to find a lane to dodge, and doesn't always work out. But as a driver, there's not really anything you can do about it. You can't beat yourself up saying, I should have went here, I should have went there. I mean, you can see from this view, can't see John Ellis Jr., can't see John, can't see John, can't see John, and all of a sudden there's John. It's a tough break for quite a few of those guys. I actually want to go back and take one more look at one of the guys through this wreck, and that would be Alex Hill. Let's see what he saw from his view here. 77. That was a real interesting look. Let's see if Baker's got any knowledge on this. Watch this. It almost looks like, I know he got a new direct drive wheel. Watch the wheel here when he hits the wall. Watch this. It's going to go just flat even. Watch this. Boom, hits the wall. Wheel's just straight. Straight as an arrow, almost like it disconnects. And all of a sudden when it reconnects, it's a little bit to the left. So that's a weird look. I'm not sure why the wheel all of a sudden, like I said, it looks almost like it disconnected when he first hit the wall there. Not sure if that affected him at all. What happened there, but again, trying to save a truck at that point here when you've already bounced off the wall a couple times, it's just such a hard thing to do. So this is going to put us potentially, I think this is probably going to put us with an 11 to go restart, assuming that we do get the 1 to go this time. And if you pit here, you're going to make yourself good for at least probably 2, potentially all 3 of those green white checkers if we end up needing them. But if you're Steve Corsack, Garrett Maines, Daniel Eberhard, any of these guys in the top 10, I don't even think it can really be a question in your mind. You have got to stay out. You are way too close to the front to give any of that up. And payouts, big payouts tonight, as we had either a sellout or a little bit less. Baker, you got any news on what the payouts look like for tonight?
Yeah, give me 1 sec.
And no problem as he does that. Let's get an update here on Cody Nagels. Looks like he is still not on the lead lap. In fact, no, he is still a lap down. Currently being scored as the leader of the car's lap down. So if we get another caution, he's not in it. He could get another one of the lucky dogs, or the lucky dog, excuse me. So you got Garrett Maines, Steve Corsack making up row 1, Daniel Eberhard and John Ward row 2, Ken McCall Jr. and Zachary Lima making up row 3. Gabe Butler just behind his teammate in the 4 truck. So those two, man, if you're John Ward, I almost think they're going to put you in the same position as everyone did earlier. They're going to try to fake the 92 like they're going high to try to draw them, and then they're going to immediately dip right back down low. And as much as I hate to say this as a driver, it's no fun, but if you're John Ward, and I'm sure he's saying the same thing, as much as you'd like to be able to go race for the win, you may not be able to right now, in the sense of if you make that move, they're just going to leave you out to dry as they did earlier. You got to just stay in line here, be the lead pusher. If there's enough trucks, though, that form up on that third line, then you take it, because at a certain point, they can't abandon you. There's just too many trucks. And going back a little bit, Trevor Osbernoth was looking for an update on him. He's been having a top 10 run most of the night. He seems to like to kind of sneak under the radar, even though he's as good as he is. And I don't know if you saw a little segment where we had him up during green. I don't know what kind of stand he's got, but the wheel looked like it was shaking whatever table it was on. And it looked like it was all he could do to hold it, yet he still manages to hold such a straight and steady line. My goodness, but Eberhard saving a little fuel. Baker with the payouts. Go ahead.
It looks like I got the updated payouts. Got 250 to first, 150 to second, 125 to third, 115 to fourth, 100 to fifth, sixth, and seventh, and 70 to eighth.
That's good payouts. Tell you what, first summer job I ever worked, I got $10 an hour at a summer camp. $80 a day, and these guys could win over double that racing here for 2 hours while having fun doing so. Absolutely baffling me. Good stuff PGR's got going here. Green flag is back in the air. It is indeed 11 laps to go for Garrett Maines, Daniel Eberhard, and Steve Korosek. Off to the races. Garrett jumps right up to the middle here. That's a pretty veteran-like move. That's going to open the inside to Eberhard. Those two are working together, though, I believe, tonight. So that might have been a little team coordination. Kenneth Stamper, second on the inside. He's pushing Eberhard. Him and Matt Lee kind of trapped, but I think Kenneth likes the position that he's in right here as they roll down the backstretch.
Great even push on the backstretch from Steve Korosek. You've got Daniel Eberhard on the bottom, getting pushed there by Kenneth Stamper. Great run for him there on the bottom with Matt Lee following.
And as they come out of turn 4, they are 3 wide, way further towards the back. Those guys got to get a little bit lined up. You don't want to risk losing this pack here. You see Richard Elliott, one of the guys in it. Let's see if we can get a quick ride on board with one of these guys. In fact, since we got his cam, let's go ahead and ride on board with Richard Elliott. You see he's in the middle of all that 3 wide mess, if you will. But the longer they stay 3 wide like this, the longer it's going to take before any of them have a chance to catch up. You see Jeff Merck, another one of the guys committed to the third. He's hoping they can get enough fast guys up there while all of a sudden they just start marching to the front. Richard Elliott looks to still be trapped in the middle right now. Now he's going to find a way to the top. Dawson Wise, you see him right there. Dawson has not made a lot of noise tonight, Baker. That surprises me. Dawson is one of the best out here. Just seems like maybe not been his night really tonight.
Bit of contact back there in the middle of 3 wide with Jeff Merck and Sean Hill.
And there is Dawson, the driver out of Knoxville, Tennessee. In the middle right now behind Mike Davenport, but back up front as we hit 9 laps to go now. How about Kenneth Stamper for KSR? He now leads the field here at Talladega. He's got the 04 of Matt Lee behind him. You saw Eberhard jump to the top. The Dale Cup teammates, they're all separated by 1 truck each. You got Korosek, and then John Ward, and then Lima, Dylan Jones, and then Gabe Butler. Man, if they could all 3 get to that third line with 3 of them lined up, I think they very well could be in the best position to win this race. 2x2 up front. The inside here breaking apart, though. Only 3 trucks make it 4 now as John Ward's going to jump to the inside.
I can't believe how much the inside surged there. They didn't have any trucks lined up. I mean, Matt Lee has got to be cooking on temps. Kenneth Stamper stays in the bottom, is going to cook his temps up. Matthew Lee knows that he's double blinking now.
Looking at the track map, doesn't look like lap traffic should be an issue the rest of the way. If so, it would only be 1, maybe 2 trucks. Look at the dashboard here. Let's ride along with the speeds these guys are going to get up to here on the backstretch for a lap or 2. And guess who has gotten lined up? Lima has gotten lined up with Steve Korosek now. If they could just find a way to shuffle out Dylan Jones, that would put Gabe Butler up with the Dale Cup teammates. And now I think that puts them in control of the destiny for the third line. You know they're going to take it as soon as they see a run, but they're not quite in that position yet. There goes Steve Korosek. Zachary Lima's going to follow Gabe Butler in coordination. He jumps to the top as well. Eberhard sees that in his mirror. He jumps up to assist his teammate. And right here is going to be crucial. These 3 Dale Cup teammates, they have got to find a way to keep the momentum up and stay as close to the front as they can till they get some help. And here comes the cavalry. Looks like the 55 of Mike Davenport. He's going to join in on the fun. We got 1 more truck behind. I think it's J.R. Miller. And all of a sudden, here comes the third lane with 7 laps to go.
3x3 action. You see the Dale Cup boys really pinching that middle lane. Also, in the back, you see Richard Elliott gets spun up into the field.
And single truck and
on the
caution
racing
is
surface.
out. Single truck spin, but it did get back up on the racing surface. And you're going to have to wonder what if now, because, man, them guys were getting it together. It was looking good. This is going to slightly split up Dale Cup again. But should be a pretty quick breakdown, so let's go take a look at it real quick here. Only one truck that spins. Boy, Baker, how often do we get to say that at a track like Talladega? Not too often. In the 71 of Derek Raleigh, who was in the LCQ along with Richard Elliott, just doing some pushing here. And then there was a big checkup. Richard Elliott falling up for the checkup. 71 tries to dive low and just kind of turns him through the process of the checkup. Not sure if Richard came down, but I mean, I think that was just checking up, and Richard got sent high. He didn't mean to. The 71 was just holding the line, and they get together. The good news for Richard, although he's going to lose the track position, it was just a harmless spin. Doesn't really have any damage. He should be good to go and not have to worry about using the fast repair either.
I probably shouldn't have thrown the caution there, but he came back up to the racing surface. Thought he was going to tag Mollahan through the caution. So.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, knowing the way things work, if you didn't throw it, that wreck would have collected the rest of the field. So I certainly think it's a pretty good call from up here. Daniel Eberhardt and Brian Bassard, Kenneth Stamper, they have similar looking trucks, but Kenneth always known by the 30. And I guess I should say the Bengals paint scheme. The other one's the Denver Broncos, but Steve Korsak in third. Now the separation of the Dale Cup teammates is what's most significant about this caution. Lima is back in sixth, so he's going to be not even in the same row as his teammate, same column, whatever you want to call it. Same line, Same line as his teammate, and they gave Butler back in ninth. So I really think Dale Cup was hoping maybe that caution could have flew maybe half a turn later. Maybe they get themselves a lot closer to each other, maybe even lined up. But now this is going to put us on a restart with, let's see if we get the one to go here. I don't think we will. I think it might be a three-lap shootout. As Reliant says, 0-2, no driver, Karma bites. And I'm assuming this must have been from the Zach Range incident, because Reliant does not seem to like Richard Elliott too much. But, hey, I mean, the guy's a good guy. Don't hate on him too much. Make some mistakes here and there, but he's a heck of a driver. He's already got himself a podium in the PGR. Plenty of qualifying groups. Just, everybody makes mistakes at times. You hate when it happens to the driver you're rooting for, but, hopefully nobody hates anybody in here too bad. It's not what we're aiming to do. There's the Ford truck of Philip Wilkinson. Saw him in a wreck earlier. He got it repaired. Now, the big question here is, did Cody Nagels get his lap back? He is currently, looks like he did.
He was unlucky on it there.
And that's big news, because NVG likes hearing that. They got one of their teammates back in contention and on the lead lap, so they may be able to sweep an extra money spot. And with what's going to be these 4 laps to go, Baker, I'll give you the choice this time. Who are we looking to interview up here in the top 5? What about, I'd like to see Kenneth Stamper. Unfortunately, though, I don't think they're in this Discord. I think they're in their KSR Discord. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So give me a name. Let's bring him up here.
I don't get Garrett in here and give him the old commentator's curse.
Hey, I'm down with it. Here we go. Let's bring him in.
Hey, Garrett. This is Matt Nawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I know you don't like talking to us unless it's at the end of the race, but how's the race been going for you, and how have you been able to get back towards the front after those early wrecks?
Well, as you just mentioned, the earlier wrecks, I would say that is par for the course recently with me. If we could just finish this one, I would be so happy. And let me clarify, I want to be in the top 8, but yeah, we'll see. We're up here where we need to be. Just gotta finish the job.
Well, hopefully you get it done. Hope to talk to you here soon. Thanks for talking to us, Garrett.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I like that he made sure he included in the top 8 there at the end. Certainly want to be in the top 8. Those are the spots that are paying. Dylan Jones, though, is the only guy so far that has already guaranteed himself some money tonight. In fact, may have already gotten paid. And that's good news, because he has been collected in a couple incidents here tonight. But nonetheless, still having a good run up here inside the top 10. In fact, right last money position in that 8th spot. But, of course, he won 30 by winning the LCQ. But $250 to win tonight, Baker, for only a $20 entry. Still just blows my mind. I mean, that's almost, what, 13 times your money if I'm doing math here right?
It's pretty amazing. You know, I'm in the Navy, so I don't do math too well, but it's definitely around that area. But to pay out the top 7, $100 or more off of a $20 entry, it just speaks to the community that we have at PGR, and we try and have every week. I know we have some bad wrecks here and there, but you know, last week we went 35 laps green flag racing, so you know, it happens every week. You know, there could be a good race, it could be a bad race. There's been some great 3-light action. There's just been some bad decision making up front, and it's cost these guys dearly.
I'll tell you what though, Baker, I look at it in the sense of like, you know, we look at events like the Podium 500. Let's take that, for example, Firecracker. Even events like PGR, you got to kind of look at it sometimes as maybe, I guess you'd say, a ratio of entry fee to the amount of money that you could win. You look at a $20 entry for $250 to win, you got to say to yourself, I mean, even just to have a chance at that, yeah, I mean, it's worth it to me. Or top 8 payouts that are all as high as they are, worth it to me. Same as you say in the Podium. And hey, I mean, the Podium through the heats and qualifiers was just an absolute wreck fest. But, I mean, we all went into it knowing that at the end there was a chance at $1,000 on the line. So, hey, if you wreck, you still got a chance of going for that money in the end of the day. So you're more than happy to have got that chance. I think that's what a lot of guys like here. And then, of course, Trevor Osmanoff, he's probably still racing these races off all the money that he won from the one win he got. And it only takes one win, right? Think about it, $250. You can get yourself into a lot of PGR races from there. Maybe try to build your bank up from there, keep winning, keep placing the money. That's always the fun part about money racing, is trying to make a profit. And that's what these big teams are out here to do. 3 laps to go at Talladega. And it looks like off the start, not sure if you had wanted to say something there, Baker. Oh, we got issues in the back. I think Navarro, yellow flag back out. We got a couple spin in the grass here. Yeah, that's going to be Chris Blanchard, Jeremy Osborne. And we didn't even, I don't even know if we got to the start-finish line. As Woogie Wolf says, I'd like to see Triscaro get a win. Yeah, Triscaro's a fan favorite. Of course, PGR owner, we always like to see him get a win. Be pretty cool to see if we can bring it home tonight. Okay, let's take a look. This is now going to send us into overtime. What has happened? Man, this is a mess. What have these guys had happen? This is... It's gonna be a big stack up. I mean, it looks like it here. Oh, big stack up. Big stack up. And then Chris Blanchard and Thomas Parker are the first two to make heavy contact with each other. That sends Blanchard around. And then Thomas Parker, when he comes back up, that collects Navarro and Osborne, who slide back down. Not a hard wreck by any means, but just kind of one of those, almost looks like we're out here playing bumper cars instead of racing. Take a couple more looks here. Watch that big checkup. Ron Marsh Jr., big checkup. JC Maines, and then Chris Blanchard. So on and so forth. And then Thomas Parker, I got to assume he just, once he got in the grass, maybe spun the tires a little bit and it threw him back up on the track. And I'm telling you, Baker down there in race control is probably not too happy about that right now. He wanted to see us try to finish this thing off under green for the next 3 laps, but it's not going to happen. We're going to rack them up, go into overtime. Let's get a look from the got the restart cam for this. I think they maybe already, yeah, there's the big checkup. And then, yeah, Parker's got one of his tires in the grass. Looks like that back tire just kind of starts spinning a little bit. And once it does so, not much you can do. Take one more ride on board with Thomas here. And listen to the throttle here after the big checkup once he gets in the grass. See if that's the telltale sign here. There's the big checkup. Tags him, just can't avoid the contact. Yep, and then in the grass. Just, it's going to happen. Chase says, hey, how's it going, Chase? Good to see you in here tonight. Glad that you're joining us. Not sure if you're new, returning, whatever the deal is. We appreciate you being here. Get yourself comfortable. You're going to watch what's going to be the first overtime here for PGR Thursday Night Heat Money Racing Series. A lot of money on the line for these guys tonight. And I will say, for anybody, if you didn't watch last week, but you watched this week, these races have been polar opposite. Last week, we got to see a green flag pit stop. We got to see 40 laps straight of green flag racing. And then, unfortunately, we did have a, not 40. It was almost 40 laps of green flag racing. Excuse me, I keep saying 40. These races are only 40 laps. Nonetheless, though, it was great last week. Hoping to see it improve and get back to that next week. So the field saving some fuel here, maybe getting ready. They're not sure how many we're going to have. But again, 3 green-white checkers if we need all 3. This is the first one of those 3. But we won't end under caution, right? If they all wreck on that 3rd one, then we're just going to keep going here, at least from what I have heard with the way the rules work. Certainly the way it worked in LCQ. We'll double check with Matthew Baker. As he is race control, I know he throws the cautions now.
Yeah, so if we have wrecks in the first 2 green white checkers anywhere in the field, 3 or more cars, we'll throw a caution in the first lap. If it comes to the 3rd one, however, if it's anything that's not really affecting the money payout positions, the caution will not be thrown.
All right, sounds like a plan. Next place, Ghost Racing Network heads is going to be over to the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Rays. To Music City Nashville Superspeedway for the 3rd race of the season before we head into an off week next week. So that is this Saturday at 10 o'clock. Make sure you don't miss out. Going to be 150 laps. Stage breaks at laps 45 and 70. And then Monday, the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series heads to the Indy Oval. That's going to be an interesting one. We're going to take a quick commercial break, hoping it'll be the last one of the night, assuming we can stay green the rest of the way. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com. Browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Front, now we're going to see a little 4-wide action.
Crazy out of the trial.
Oh, he gets over it into the lead under record.
3x3 entering 4.
3 2. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway, getting ready for the first overtime here. PGR Thursday Night Heat Series Race 3. I think I like the format a little bit better than the way we used to do with the Blaster 120s. The LCQ tonight was pretty exciting. A little bit of an unfortunate finish for the guys in terms of for the transfer position, but the finish itself was phenomenal between Dylan Jones and Ryan Baste. Speed Weeks 457 says 50 laps raced. Not sure exactly what you mean, Speed Weeks. Let me know. I might just be confused. I might be missing the point here. Either way, back on track. The green flag is in the air. 2 laps to go at Talladega. 1 lap to make it official. Can we get there? Eberhardt and Maines off to a pretty good lead. You know, Stamper and Korsak are going to get locked up quick. There goes Eberhardt right up to the top. They're thinking about splitting. Does Kenneth Stamper take it 3 wide, or does he push? Looks like for now he's going to be content pushing. There goes the series owner, Michael Trasquero, to the bottom. Can Team PGR find a way to maybe get themselves either in money position or maybe in victory lane here tonight? Zachary Lima on the bottom. If Dale Cup could find a way to get linked up, go to the 3rd lane, I think they'd be fast, but they're not. There's just not going to be any way for it right now. Matt Lee, on the other hand, he jumps to the top. He's not going to get any help, and he is a lone wolf out there right now.
Oh, and they're wrecking.
And they are all wrecking. This is going to be a big one here. Up the track. And big hit out back for Thomas Parker on the 51 truck. Looks like the 77 of Alex Hill. He was also involved. Gets back rolling now. Jeff Merck, as we talked about, was just in this wreck. Let's go back, take a look at it. Speedweek says 22 laps of caution, my friend. And I see what you mean. I was kind of guessing that might have been, but yeah. You hate when races come to that, but there's nothing we can do up here in the booth except watch these boys play it out. Let's go back and take a look. See, is this going to be just a racing deal, or does somebody get a little too antsy? And wow, this was at the front of the pack. Eberhardt, does he get turned? Let's see. He may have gotten turned. Couldn't tell completely from the first few.
Yeah,
so we're
looks
looking
like
for...
Kenneth Stamper gets into the back of Danny Eberhardt down into Garrett Mans.
Yep. Cut and dry just like that. Sends him around down, and then out back was just a chain reaction from all of this. And man, it's going to send us into our second green white checkered. And every time we get into the second one, I start to get nervous on if we could get to the third one. But I think I forgot for a second that I don't need to be nervous because, again, the race will finish under green, so you don't have to worry about these guys finishing it under caution. And wow, it looked like Thomas Parker maybe got slightly ARCA braked right there. The 4 was on the brakes, but it just looked like too little too late. Philip Wilkinson. Thomas probably not too happy about that as he was able to check up. The 4 was pretty far behind him and not able to check up. And it's a pretty good hit. Nothing too brutal, though, as we go back live. This is going to shuffle up the order, and Dale Cup, I think they've got to find a way right here, Baker. This has got to be the race they win if they want it. The C's have parted right here at the end. Open it up to the 2 teammates to lead the front row, with Gabe Butler not going to be too far behind to give it some more assistance. Dylan Jones in 3rd. Trevor Oswornoth, could he maybe get another win here tonight? He sits 4th. Their series owner, Michael Triscaro, he sits in 5th. He could have a shot at it. You know, he really would like to get one. Gabe Butler 6th. Matt Lee 7th. Ryan Based 8th. Sean Ward 9th. And Dustin Carruthers rounding out your top 10. Hey, let's see if we can let's go see if we can pull in Michael Triscaro here for a quick interview.
So,
hey, Michael, this is Austin and Baker up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
All right. Well, looking like you're in good position here. Seems like the C's are starting to slowly part. We could still have another green-white checkered here. It looks like you're going to be starting in the 6th position or 5th position. Excuse me, 4th or 5th position. Either way, do you think you have what it takes to get all the way to the front?
I don't know. This has been a kind of a weird race. The bottom line wasn't really moving too much. It did on that restart. I got up to the middle lane. It probably should have stayed with Matt Lee there. Luckily, I was able to avoid that wreck. I think I'm starting in 5th. We had an EOL up there, so I think I could get it done. I just hope we have a good restart here behind Dylan Jones. And if I can get clear, I'm going middle, and I'm full send to the front, man.
All right. Well, the only thing the PGR Series owner needs to be any more successful right now is to get a win in his own series. So we wish you the best of luck the rest of the way, and we'll see if we're talking to you in Victory Lane.
I hope so, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Michael Triscaro and Baker, what do you think? Do you think these guys are going to be able to simmer down for this last one and get it in? Or not last one, but second to last one.
Yeah, I hope so. I know, Stamper really didn't mean to. He's just offset pushing him and just caused that wreck. Feel bad for him, but because he was having such a great run, but it's just pretty cut and dry.
And it happens to the best of the best, right? I mean, we saw it happen to Jason earlier. Just, that fine line that the new package brings where you got to always be pushing, but at the same time, it takes just a slightly offset push for everything to go wrong. So guys just trying to work around that thin line, and here's where we're at. Looks like Speedweek says caution chases. Oh my gosh. Baker's mom says, thanks guys for broadcasting. Speedweek says good broadcast, gentlemen. Wildcat Robbie says Nagel's about to go from 38th to money spot. Lol, dirt pool. Where did the 30 truck go? So Kenneth Stamper is the 30 truck. He did get an EOL Speed Weeks, as he was the cause of the caution. Again, we don't believe, obviously, again, nobody's saying it was anything intentional by Kenneth, but after via replay and then race control, of course, looking at replays, it was determined that the 30 truck did indeed turn the 90 down in the field, which sparked the wreck, bringing out the caution. So that is an EOL penalty. And back to Cody Nagels, and even what would be Kenneth Stamper in this case, don't count him out just yet. It's a lot of work. I don't think it's enough to get it back here in one overtime, but we still got one more. So, you know, another big wreck. You never know. You got to get up to the top 8. 40 trucks, so almost 25% of the field going to be going home with some good money here tonight. To see how it pans out. Dylan Jones, there he is, second on the inside. He could maybe be looking to add some more money, and if he wins this race, he'd be going home with $280 here tonight. That'd be pretty incredible. Cody Nagels, of course, last week's winner. So if he wants a chance at the Triple Truck Challenge, he's going to have to win here tonight. Otherwise, it's going to reset for whoever does indeed win it.
The pace car is going to pull down. You've got Dale Cup lined up on the top and bottom here. Really impressed with their run. Let's see if they can finish it off here late and, you know, get a little bit of luck on their side. They don't have many other teams lined up around them. They're lined up as the green flag is going to come out.
Dale Cup's probably the last team you want to give any free momentum to. All right, here we go. Steve Korsak, Zachary Lima, they're off to the races. I got to think Steve stays up here. Trevor Oswanoff, you know, he seems like a little bit more of a conservative guy. Maybe he sticks behind Steve here, at least until the white flag. We'll have to see. And Gabe Butler, he's right there to back up his teammate for whoever takes it 3 wide. So even if Trevor does jump, Steve's not going to have to wait too long to get that help. I think Dale Cup's chances have to be looking really, really good right here. As they go down the backstretch, everybody is still pretty much 2 by 2. We got one truck 3 wide on the top. Not making much of any progress right now. But you can still see guys shuffling around looking for which lane they want to be in for this final lap.
Just 2 by 2. As you see, one gets turned down, he wrecks back up into the field.
Another big wreck. This is going to bring the caution back out. So unfortunately, we are going to head into the 3rd overtime. And this looks more like C-fix at this point. But let's go back and see what's going to cause, I don't know, your 10th, 11th caution here of the night. Back this up. Go to the blimp cam here. And, you know, I think the thing, I mean, of course, frustrating because you want to see a good race, but the thing that frustrates it up here for the commentators' booth, at least for me personally, is we run out of dang things to talk about here under caution, and I'm out. I don't have any cards. I don't have any notes. I mean, I don't know what else to really talk about, so we'll have to figure out something. But looking at the wreck, it was somebody up towards the front. Oh my goodness, was that, what in the world was that? Oh, okay, there we go. From the first view, almost looked like some net code, but no, it's not. It's going to be actual contact. John Mullahan just hits the 38 truck in the left rear. Pretty cut and dry on that one from the looks of it. That sends the 38 down the track, and then they're just going to wreck from here once they come back up the track. Jason Maines, and that is going to finish Cody off after he had just been making the comeback. And he is not happy right now, I'm sure. You cannot blame him. Give you a couple more views of it. And watch it slow. Well, that's after John Mullahan already makes contact right there. Watch this. Boom. Just slight. Gets him out of shape, and you can't save him here. It's just speeds are too high for these guys. Man, Cody got up into the catch fence for just a minute, and then this all washes down out of turn 4, which is where it collects a couple more guys. Let's take 2 more angles of it there as Cody came to a stop. He easily got the worst of it. And if it's going to let us, back that up one more time. Yeah, just, it's a tough break for Cody too. Nothing he could do. Once it happened, it was over. And fortunately with that wreck he got in earlier on the, where he was going for the lead, now he doesn't have the fast spur, so he can't use it in this case, and just further puts his night to an end. We'll have to see what Baker says about that one, but definitely looked pretty cut and dry up here from the booth. Looked like the 02, I believe it is tonight, of John Mullahan just got into the left rear of Aubrey Thompson, the 38 truck. You know what? I said Aubrey Thompson in the 38, kind of out of a little bit of a blind guess. I remembered Aubrey being the 38, and I am correct. Sure enough.
Nice.
And so Baker, it sounds like, what did it just look like? Mullahan getting into left rear for Aubrey?
Yeah, Mullahan claimed it. He got there whenever the stack up started to happen. He went offset left, tried to stay off him, and just got into his left rear there and spun out.
And good news out of all that is at least, you know, you got a guy that's owning up to it. We certainly like to see that here. Guys, certainly going to work on it. The good news here, if you're watching in the chat and if you're ready to go to bed, is this restart here will be the last restart. There will not be another one after this, and we are going to race it out all the way. There will be no cautions. Am I correct on that, Baker?
If the wreck happens up front, there will be a caution, and it'll go off of what iRacing scores. But if it doesn't affect the money position payouts, we're going to keep it green and let it go.
Okay, all right. So that could be interesting. We'll have to see. I mean, if these guys have a giant pileup in front to back, we'll have to see how it
That is only on the first lap.
Yeah, let's have to see how it all sorts itself out. Heath Job says, talk about your merch. Wildcat Robbie Morrison says, dang, almost had my Nagels pick come true. That sucks. Let's move it to, yeah, I mean, hey, Robbie, we were watching Cody in the NSR Championship the other night, and he went from, I think he was somewhere in the teens, all the way to the front in 2 laps, all while passing the 2 championship contenders. I mean, it was incredible. So a tough break for Cody, but you know he'll be back next week, and I'm sure we'll see him back in the money here pretty soon. And Heath Job, you brought up a good point. Didn't talk too much about it, but again, hey, needed something else to talk about. So there you go. Ghost Racing Network merch. Probably been around for two and a half weeks, if I had to guess for now. Bryce still working on new stuff, but you can get yourself anything from Ghost hoodies, water bottles, stickers. I mean, you name it, you can probably find it on there. And if you want your own custom hoodie, whatever the deal is, all you got to do is go ahead and talk to Bryce about it. We can get you hooked up and get your name, iRacing team number, whatever you want. You can get on there along with your favorite Ghost Racing Network, the red, the green, or the mixed. And I got myself a Ghost Racing Network shirt already. Unfortunately, the printing company that did it was absolutely horrible. So I got myself a new one from the one that we've been using now, which is a lot better. Already had people with it. We saw Richard Elliott rocking one tonight, and excited for it. So make sure you check yourself out some Ghost Racing Network merch. Speedweek says, I feel weird for following, sharing, and liking Baker's mom.
Who?
I think Speedweeks was making a joke on Baker's mom saying to like, share, and follow. She meant for the channel, Speedweeks, which I'm assuming you meant, which in that case, it's you gave me a little chuckle up here in the booth, but better watch. You don't want Baker coming after you. That's a big man. Wuggy Wolf, Mullahan, and D. Low, you're doing good, though. All right, Baker, first time that we have seen ourselves go to the 3rd green-white checkered here in overtime. What are you thinking here? How's this going to play out?
I'm looking for Trevor to maybe try and get up top with Steve. If I was him, though, I'd stay tucked to the back bumper of Lima until I'm out of 4 to try and make that move, because you know Steve's going to go 3 wide, and then you have Dylan pushing right behind.
And, you know, on the same... If I'm one of these guys outside the top 10, it almost makes it a little bit more desperate for me now because of, you know, knowing that the caution comes out if they wreck up front. I think I just got to go for it, get every position as soon as possible here. But hopefully we can keep it green and get a good finish out of it as the green flag is back in the air. They're wrecking. Can Jared Miller say that he can? It's further towards the back. No money positions yet. Collects a couple of them in the back. Richard Elliott and J.R. Miller, 2 of the Ghost Racing Network trucks. But up front, we do stay green. Lima and Korsek side by side off of 2. Another big wreck in the back. We got one upside down. You can't tell who that is. It might be Danny Barnes or Jeremy Osborne. Still no caution. It's Jeremy Osborne finally flipped back over. As we go back up front, there's still 2x2 as they enter turn 3.
Side by side, Dale Cup leading the top and bottom lines. They're pushing for everything they're worth on the middle and the bottom lane. Hopefully they keep it together. Going to keep it together here. Out of 4, we're going to keep it green here. Triscaro goes high with Matt Lee. Look for this 3 wide action. It's going to pull Jones back. Korsek does a great job. Slams on the brake. Lee's going to have to tuck back in line for maybe another run, but we get to the white flag.
This race will now be official. The only question remaining is who is going to win it. Will it be Dale Cup getting their first one? Lima still leads the way on the bottom. Steve Korsak up top looking for another run. But watch for a 3 wide. I'm looking at Matt Lee, Michael Triscaro, and Ryan Baste. One of those three is going to have to start it. Question is, how much help can he get? There goes Triscaro with him. Baste is also going to follow in line. That is 3 committed trucks up top. Steve may have to think about throwing a block here.
He's not going to, but Lima's going to get clear. Look who's also going to get here. Trevor almost gets clear, and now he leads the bottom lane. He gets turned. Lima gets turned. Gabe Butler gets turned. Oh,
big wreck out back. It's going to be a drag race between 2 trucks. Here comes Steve Korsak and Matt Lee as we see one of those violent wrecks of all time out back. It's a 2-on-2 drag race. Matt Lee hooks him. Lee hooks him hard into the wall. They're both going to slide. Neither of them are going to win it. Christian Sanford, in his first race, is going to win the Thursday Night Heat Series. Heartbreak for Steve Korsak. Man, oh man. And, you know, don't really have anything to say yet. After that one, can have to take a look at a couple replays. Nonetheless, though, big congratulations, of course, to Christian Sanford. Did a great job tonight. Finishes 33 positions from where he started. And, again, we love seeing the under. But, man, certainly looked like a frustrating way to end. But before we say anything, we need to take a look because, again, we couldn't quite break it down exactly the way we saw it here. So let's go up front here to Steve. Now these two, once they all wrecked, it was just a drag race between them. Steve goes up for a little bit of a side draft and then coming down here. Steve's on the bottom, and that is major net code. So yeah, going to go ahead and take that off of Matt Lee in the sense of Baker. I don't think they ever would have made contact. Lee was just going down for a side draft, and that was massive net code. I mean, they weren't even really close to each other yet. Yeah, you see Lee straightens it out before he gets there. He was just getting real close, real quick, trying to get the side draft, and the net code just hooks Steve up the track. They both wreck. I thought for a minute one of them was still going to win it, spinning at the line, but Christian Sanford was able to sneak by right at the end here. You see Steve backwards against the fence. There goes the 28. And Garrett Maines is going to give him a little push by clobbering him. That's just nowhere to go. So Christian Sanford wins the race at Talladega tonight. Let's take a look at that big wreck. What caused it? I mean, this was... And you know what? We're going to have to take another view at the 28 after that because he came all the way through that wreck. The first guy to get turned was Trevor Osmanoff. So let's watch... Oh, just looks like he's inching up a little bit. Eventually, him and Steve make some contact from it, and then once he comes back down, Gabe's there, turns him around. See Lima get turned, back up the pack, and everybody's just full throttle at this point. So now at this, it's just going to collect every single driver. Oh, Triscaro, that's a tough break for him too. In that last wreck, is he was actually through it. Nobody ever even touched him, but he got net coded as well. He might have been in the race for the win, and he's not going to be happy when he sees that because that's another driver that got hurt by the net code right there. And man, oh man, there's all the big hits on the bottom. Look at these guys just piling in. You got a ride on board, though, here with Christian Sanford here for this finish because, I mean, he was behind this pack and by plenty. Watch the onboard cam here for the 20. This is incredible. Here we go. Just keeps his foot in it, keeps going, and at this point he's probably already happy. He knows he's got third locked up, and he sees him wreck, and now he's saying, hold on, and I got it. Just like that, like a veteran. 53 went from dead last to like 7th. Philip Wilkinson says, take a look. All right, take a look. This will be the last look. Vamps just tuning in. Vamps, you just missed a interesting finish to say the least. And here is the onboard from Philip Wilkinson. He gets up to 7th, as we noted. And they had almost wrecked in the back here, too. He's able to avoid that. He sees him wrecking up front. He's going to keep his foot in it. Oh my goodness. How does he miss all of it? It's like a magic trick. Gets back up and looked like he had to go below the yellow there as the 77 was going to throw a massive block. Not sure if that would be considered. It wasn't really forced down though, so I'm not sure how race control ended up calling that. We'll have to see. But yeah, Christian Sanford is your winner. We are going to go get your top 3 in here for interviews. Might have a word from race control as well. We'll have it all when we come back. Stay with us. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Christian Sanford is burning it down to join his win. Before we get to your winner, though, let's start with your third place finisher, Garrett Maines. Garrett, all stop at the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you know, definitely a crazy finish, I guess, to describe it in one way. The race itself seemed like it got a little messy at certain times. Nonetheless, you found a way back to third. Tell us about the last lap as you were behind the 28 truck and just about your race in general.
Well, I will say, I went from what I would say getting scammed to being the one scamming everything at the end. So shout out to Christian there. He made every correct move possible. I did trust him. I've raced with him in the past. It's been a minute since I've seen him in a plate race, but he made literally every hole that he was supposed to there at the end. So I was able to push him all the way from, I guess it was like the mid-20s up to the mid-teens in one lap, and then they crashed in the last lap, and he picked the right hole, so did I, and we got through it, and scammed a podium, so I'll take it.
Well, podium indeed. Not really too much more that we have for you tonight, so I guess on that note, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, absolutely. Got to give a huge shout out to Cover Seal, Bucked Up, Linux, MCU Body, the guys at Ryko for all the work they put in the Coke Series, and shout out to my teammates, and like I said, Christian there. Shout out to him making the right moves at the end. That was a lot of fun. I'm glad for once. It's been literally since May that I've finished in the money, and I really didn't think tonight was going to be the one that broke that streak. So. Not going to complain about it at all. I thought, we were leading on the green, white, checkered, the first one, and I'm like, this is it. Where we need to be. And that was ripped from me. And then we ran out of gas on the second one and came back. So definitely a roller coaster of emotions, but glad we could get it done.
Good run out there tonight. Thanks for talking to us. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's going to bring us to your second plate finisher, Steve Korsak, where Matthew Baker stands by with him.
Hey, Steve, is Matt and Austin up the booth to get a copy?
Yeah, that's up, guys.
Well, unfortunate there through the tribal with the netcode, Matt Lee come down to get the side draft from you, and it seems to be happening way more often than not. I know we've tried to talk to iRacing about it to get it fixed, but nonetheless, you still are able to pull a second out of it, even though getting turned through the tribal. Talk to me through that race and how you were able to survive.
Yeah, first off to say congratulations to Christian. It was a pretty sweet win. It was just good to have a third teammate tonight. The last, I don't know how many races I've been doing, just been going in solo or just me and Gabe, and it seems like we're able to be up front and lead laps, but when it comes to the end, we always get shuffled out. So it was nice to have that third tonight, and it really made the difference, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you guys are up front all night. I really stayed out of the chaos because you guys were up front, and when the wrecks happened up front, you guys were able to avoid. Anyone you want to thank or shout out for your second place finish?
Yeah, shout out to the usual. Thank the team, Dale Cup and Bootnaka, Zach Lima and Gabe Butler, and shout out to Michael Tressaro, PGR, and shout out Ghost Racing Network, you guys. It's always a good time. Can't wait to watch it back.
Well, good finish, man. Hope to see you next week. Still in a podium spot with 3 teammates.
Thanks, man.
And that is going to bring us to your race winner. First, well, I guess I should say 1 for 1. Christian Sanford. Christian, you got a copy?
Yes, I am here. Do you got me?
Yeah, well, somehow you and Garrett finished on the podium after being what he described in the mid-20s. We looked at your cockpit view, and, I mean, walk us through that last lap. That was absolutely crazy.
I didn't even get the full chance to even look at it, but, I mean, I saw Garrett and Jason in the back, so I was thinking, like, maybe just to team up with them. But, I mean, once the white flag went out, I had no thought of even getting even close to the top 5 at all. And then they started piling up, and then the top 2 wrecked. I mean, once the big wreck happened, I was just like, I'm flooring it at that point. You just, whatever happens, happens. But I didn't think that was all going to work out in that much. Pretty crazy.
Well, we saw you being pretty aggressive throughout this race at different times. The LCQ, really aggressive in 2. Couldn't quite get the win in that one. But what do you look to carry from this one to move on into next week's to maybe improve on a little bit?
Definitely qualify better. I did not expect my qualifying to be that bad, to be honest. That was like my first time touching the truck in like 7 months, so I didn't remember the whole qualifying procedure, what to do. So I qualified in like 30 something. But I mean, at least the LCQ worked out. Managed to get into the main thing, so I guess just do better for that next time.
Well, qualifying fast or not, you found a way in and you found a way to get the job done. Before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Not really anyone. I don't got any team or sponsors or anyone. So just shout out to myself, I guess, for a good run there, and definitely shout out to Garrett for the push. Appreciate it.
All right. Hey, thanks for talking to us. Congrats on the win, and hopefully we'll see you back next week with some of your winnings back in here.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
No problem. Slide him back up, and I know Baker's got to get busy, so we're going to go ahead and get right to your race results here. Christian Sanford finishes first. Steve Korsak in second. Garrett Maines rounding out your podium. Michael Triscaro, good finish for him tonight, gets in the money in fourth. Jason Maines fifth. Philip Wilkinson sixth. Matt Lee in seventh, and Alex Hill rounding out the last money position in eighth. Thomas Parker ninth, and Devin Ray rounding out the top 10.
In 11th, you've got Kenneth Stamper, Ron Morris Jr. in 12th. 13th, you've got Mike Davenport. 14th, you've got Zachary Lehman, Christopher Blanchard in 15th. John Ellis Jr. in 16th. John Ward in 17th. Trevor Osborne with that bad net code there. Unfortunate for him in 18th, looking to try and get another win and just got caught up in the stuff he can't really control. Just got to move on to the next week. Gabe Butler in 19th, and Dawson Wythe rounded out your top 20.
Dustin Carruthers finishes 21st. William Fox 22nd. Ryan Bass 23rd. Aubrey Thompson 24th. Landon Benson 25th. Dylan Jones 26th, with Daniel Eberhardt 27th. Andrew Navarro in 28th. Brian Bassard 29th. And Derek Relay rounding out your top 30.
And 31st, you've got J.R. Miller. 32nd, Richard Elliott. 33rd, Jeremy Osborne. 34th, David Sheets. 35th, John Mollahan. 36th, Cody Nagels. Not a very good run for him tonight. Bradley Stefan in 37th. Jeff Merck in 38th. Tucker McClendon in 39th. And Sean Corbett round out your 40th field.
Well, it was definitely pretty messy tonight, but you know you're going to get that. Hopefully we're back to the usual great racing that we saw next week. Nonetheless, we, as always, appreciate you guys coming out, supporting these guys, watching, supporting Ghost Racing Network. Baker, you do a great job, as always, up here in the booth and on race control. Going to be a little bit more busy tonight, but we'll be back next week. Besides that, anything else you got to add before we hop out of here?
No, just, we just got to clean up some things and get it right, but it happens these weeks. We get Wreckfest, and then we'll move on to next week, and we'll have 35 laps of green flag racing. So, yeah, it comes and goes, just like we talked about earlier. But hopefully, we can clean it up and have a good race next week.
Sounds like a good plan to me. All right, that is it tonight for Matthew Baker and Austin Green here on Ghost Racing Network. Till next time, have a good one.